1. When the sky grows dark. Storms come into every life, unexpected, uncontrollable, and often overwhelming. It could be the sudden death of a loved one, the collapse of a dream, the words from a doctor no one wants to hear. When the skies of life turn black, it's easy to wonder, where is God? The disciples once found themselves in such a moment. On the Sea of Galilee, a violent storm arose while Jesus slept in the boat. The waves crashed, the wind howled, and the boat threatened to sink. The disciples cried out, "Lord, don't you care if we drown?" It's the same cry, echoing from so many hearts today. God, are you asleep? Have you forgotten me? But Jesus did not forget. He stood, rebuked the storm, and asked, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" The truth is this: the presence of a storm does not mean the absence of God. In fact, it's often in the storm that we discover He is closer than we realized. God in the middle of the chaos. God does not promise a life without storms, but He does promise to be with us in the middle of them. Isaiah chapter 43 verse 2 says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned." Notice, it says when, not if. Storms are part of the journey, but so is God. A young man once shared his testimony after battling depression, losing his job, and watching his marriage collapse. One rainy night, he walked to a bridge with the intention of ending his life. But while sitting there, broken and soaked, he felt a strange warmth over his chest, like someone placing a hand on his heart. He said, "I didn't see anyone, but I knew God was there." That night didn't magically erase his problems, but it marked the turning point, because from that moment, he knew he wasn't alone. 3. The anchor that holds. In storms, sailors drop anchor, not to stop the storm, but to remain steady through it. Likewise, Christ is our anchor. Hebrews 6:19 declares, "We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure." God doesn't always calm the storm immediately. Sometimes He calms you while the storm continues. That's what real faith is, trusting the anchor more than fearing the waves. You may still hear thunder, you may still feel the wind, but something in your spirit stands firm. You're no longer at the mercy of fear because you know the one who holds you. The storm may shape you, but it will not break you, not when you're anchored in God's love. 4. Testimonies from the storm. Sometimes the greatest witness to God's presence is not what He prevents, but what He preserves. The mother who loses her child but still sings hymns of hope. The cancer patient who brings joy to others from a hospital bed. The war refugee who quotes psalms with tears and smiles at the same time. These are not stories of escape. They are stories of endurance. They show us what grace looks like in motion. They remind us that God's power isn't only seen in miraculous deliverance. It is seen in the quiet strength of those who survive the storm still clinging to faith. And those people, they become our beacons. Their lives whisper, "He stayed with me, He'll stay with you too." 5. After the storm, a new dawn. Eventually, every storm ends. The rain stops, the winds die down, the sky clears. But often, we're no longer the same people who entered the storm. Storms refine. They strip away what doesn't matter. They teach us what is truly strong: faith, love, hope, presence. After the storm, we don't just return to normal. We rise renewed, wiser, softer, more aware of grace. We begin to understand that peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of God within the trouble. And so, when the next storm comes, and it will, we no longer panic. We remember. We hold on. We whisper to ourselves, He was faithful before, He'll be faithful again. Because the God who calms the storm is also the God who stays through it.